Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. And there's Jack in the background listening in. Hope you're well. We are well. It's a beautiful day here in my part of the world. And I want to say hello to people who are chiming in. Linda Bridges, good morning. Cassandra Bowl, good morning from Alberta, Canada. Aoteario girl, I never say it right, CJ. Good morning from Ontario. Heather Silva, good morning from Boise, Idaho. And our weekly video Bible study can see and hear you. Thank you, Scott. Today's topic is actually, you might have found the word funny, strumbles. It's a mashup of stumble and how did I make that one? Strumble. Oh, somebody reminded me how it comes. It's strumble. I can't remember. But it's when you essentially may kind of fall off things for a minute or a second or a month. And we all have our little moments. It doesn't have to be just about food. I'm not for myself. I'm not worried about eating carbs. It is no longer an issue for me, believe it or not. But there are other areas of my life where I'm like, oh my goodness, I was doing so well. And why did I make that poor decision? And so I want to talk about that. You guys can share your perspective. And if you've ever experienced a strumble, how did I come up with that, Scott? And this was on a morning snippet. I do morning snippets for my patrons. And sometimes I haven't even had a sip of coffee yet. And words come out weird. So it was a strumble, it was a stumble, and okay. Anyway, strumble is just where it is. So let's talk about this. First of all, for those of you who don't know, here's my practice for these Saturday morning live streams. I spend the first half talking about whatever the topic du jour is. Then I have a little bit of a break to do some acknowledgments for just about 45 seconds. And then the rest of the time, listening to not writing. See, I haven't had enough coffee today. Reading and responding to comments, questions, and you guys talking to each other. Now, this actually, you're going to bear with me for a moment, I hope. I'm going to thank you for the hearts, by the way. I love that. It tickles me. I have a very low threshold for excitement, don't I? So the topics for the videos, the morning snippets that I do for patrons, many times, most of the times, are suggested by patrons. And there's a document that I provide a link to for the patrons to use. Now, the one that was for Friday morning, I'm going to see if I can read this. And it just put me in mind of this. And I thought it was a very good one to go with. This person writes, "Hello, friend. I mentioned last week in a comment that I would be starting / doing a serious reset beginning this week. I was, oh, goodness gracious. I'm sorry. My screen jumped. I was in September 21, the lowest weight I have been ever. Lots of things were at play, but following keto, walking, and lots of water were the main ones. Over the past 6 to 8 months, I have strayed, dabbled where I should not have, strumbled, and this person wrote strumbled, and just flat out ate the tortilla chips, knowing the outcome. So I begin again facing 30 unwanted pounds. I will maybe update my journey in 30 days. I will be keeping a journal and going back to tracking my carbs. I noticed by keeping track yesterday, I have been underestimating carbs a lot more than I thought. So I think it is a great time to give up. No, excuse me. So I think it is great when you give us pep talks about the things we all know. Reminders are good. We can all get lazy and start to go over the 20 total carbs each day, eat out of boredom, or just flat out eat what we shouldn't. I appreciate you and Teresa, who's a patron, and Jen, and the others who keep the morning topics flowing. I'm sure this is I'm not sure this is a topic, but just claiming that even those who have had great success can falter, and we just need to realize it, own it, and get back on the path. So, this is a topic, and we have a little community at Patreon. And I think that's a great reminder. This person was at their lowest weight ever, enjoying it, loved it. Who knows why we stray, we strumble. So there are trip and stumble. Trip and stumble. Thank you, Scott. I knew you would come up with it. We trip. We stumble. We strumble. Thank you, Scott. It's first of all, being overweight, obese, morbidly obese, as I was, for those of you who don't know, I was overweight, obese, morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. You can go to my blog, link below, and read some input or look at the pictures. I tried the summer of triathlons, move more, eat less. I tried juicing. I went vegetarian for about 18 minutes. I tried many things. I gave up. Decided the universe wanted me to be the funny fat friend. But I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. So I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes. Came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University, who I am happy to say is now actually a friend. And I just watched the video, and it was keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. Total carbs, not net carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. Enjoy the feeling of satiety. I've added, be patient and persevere. Well, I knew since 1977 that low carb worked for me. I did the induction period of Atkins because I was in college. I put on about 12 or 13 pounds over a couple of years. I wanted to get them off, did the induction, lost the weight, threw the book away. I knew again in the early 2000s because by now I was I was big. I mean, I'm 115 and a half pounds off my heaviest weight that I know of. So I was big. I'm 5'1", so imagine. Perfectly round. And I was having some success. I did the induction period of Atkins again. It wasn't called keto or low carb, high fat at that point. I just went back to what I remembered. And I was rolling along, lost about 30 pounds maybe. And then I strumbled. Why? Because I had an upsetting medical diagnosis. And I decided, well, that sucks. Let me eat the bagel, which led to mashed potatoes and tortilla chips and a little bit of tequila. And guess what? I still had cancer. I put all the weight back on. Believe it or not, bagels, tortilla chips, and tequila are not medicinal. So I've had a series of strumbles. I've gone through all the excuses and explanations that y'all have. Life came at me, or I looked to food for comfort. Well, food is not comfort. It's torture sometimes. So food is a distraction. I use food to cope. Now I'm using food to not cope. If we were coping, we would fix the problem. So what do we do? Won't call anyone out, but I'm going to guess there are those who are hearing my voice right now who have strumbled, have had success, and then inexplicably said, well, that works really well. Laying off the carbs, really, I feel better. I'm coming off of medications. I have more energy. I'm losing weight. My clothes are looser. This works. So let me stop doing it this weekend. I just, there's a whole thing about carb cycling. Why? Why? If you want to, if it works for you, great. If it used to work for you and it doesn't anymore, pay attention to yourself. But we make decisions against our own best interests often. I myself do. I know what makes me feel better. Now, I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about, in my case, resistance training. I like I like having toned arms. I like feeling tauter. I like feeling more like my posture's better. I like going to the gym. I don't know. Erase that. I like being at the gym. I don't like going to the gym. And I like the sauna. And it's a university affiliated gym. I get a great deal because I'm an alum. I like being around the buzzing young brains and energy. And I've had great success doing that. Guns. I had guns at one point, which have now been replaced by flab. So why am I not going to the gym? You tell me. I make a decision opposite of my own best interest. I'm working on this though. I'm working on it. The thing is we can't we can't live in that moment of the weird decision. Just how well there we are. What do I do now? Next time, if it's food, next time I eat, I'm gonna lay off the carbs. For me, mine actually has to take proactive. I have to actually get in my car and go to the gym. Or I could get the total gym back out of the closet. Because I had success with that. So of course I stopped doing it. Not smart. But I am smart. See, that's what's vexing. So if we strumble, we get better. I was in the process of reading an article about the benefit to ourselves if we practice forgiveness. Little bits of forgiveness. Oh, that jerk just cut me off in line or stole my spot and the checkout, or forgive. That's a little thing. And then there are things that are bigger, much bigger. But we can't live in that moment because it doesn't do us any good. We can't live in we have to forgive other people, and we can't live in the moment when I decided to eat the bagel and everything just went crashing down. That was a long time ago, but what if I never got over that? We have to get over our mistakes and learn from them. And it's not a crime, and it's not a character flaw, and it's not a cheat. Cheat sounds like kind of a cute word. It's now a marketing word. Come to Wendy's for your cheat meal. Maybe 2. It's not a cheat. It's a decision to eat food, or it's a decision to not eat the food. It's just a decision, and we're adults. So, as the person who posted the snippet topic suggestion wrote, own it and move on. So, I might have to decide that I will give an update on, well, I do my morning snippets every weekday morning. So I might have to decide that I need to be accountable to myself and do it out loud with my patrons in regards to resistance training. Now, I'm not looking when I say resistance training, I'm resistance training. I want good bone density. I want core strength. I want lean mass, not to lose weight on the scale. I want to feel better and be as strong as I can be. It's the same reason my husband doesn't eat carbs, not because he ever had a weight issue. He wants to be healthy. He heard the medical lectures that I was listening to when I was first doing this, Dr. Westman, Dr. Finney, Dr. Volek. He heard the information, said, well, that makes sense to me, actually. So he does this for his health. He got to his ideal weight in 7 hours. So, that's just the way it is. So if we make a poor decision, we have to own it and move on. Any 12-step program will tell you the same thing, right? They don't have multiple meetings per day in every city in every country for Alcoholics Anonymous because once you lay off the alcohol, you're good to go. Right? The food is the easy part. But just because the food is easy doesn't mean that implementing it is easy. It might be simple, but it's not always easy. So don't say, well, I'm going to make this decision and then I'll forgive myself. Okay. If that works, but why not get in front of that decision so you don't have to forgive yourself, so you can spend that emotional energy elsewhere? Because we have lots of places we can spend emotional energy, right? There's a lot of forgiving that needs to happen. There's a lot of putting positivity out into the universe that needs to be done. There are other ways to spend our time rather than regretting our food choices. Let's move onward. So, Strumbles, and thank you again, Scott. You never let me down. I'm going to remind you that you do not have to purchase one thing to be 100% successful at this protocol. Nothing. There's not a food product that will help you burn fat for fuel. It's not what you put in your mouth, it's what you don't put in your mouth. It's not the presence of fat or protein, it's the absence of carbs that makes you become a fat burner. So, that having been said, in an effort to earn my keep, I will sell you t-shirts. This is I'm kind of proud of this one. I like designing these things. This is KETO in American Sign Language. It's rather subtle. You can see a link to things in my spread shop below. I've got mugs and teddy bears and water bottles and mugs that say I laid off the carbs and laid off the excuses. And Go Keto with Casey's 12-month record book. Journal, log, a diary of change. And this is just something you can get this on Amazon. You can see a link to it at my blog, link below. And I want to thank patrons. I have a private support group on patreon.com, link below. And depending on your tier level, I do 20 pre-recorded video snippets every weekday morning. I've now made 1,422. Going up from there, the next tier, you get a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast. I actually have one today at 11 a.m. Eastern. Going up from there, handful of patron-only video group sessions on Zoom, and going up from there, one-on-one with me. So thank you very much. And for those of you who that's not your jam, if you can just give me a thumbs up on the channel, it apparently helps, the thumbs up. So thank you. And I feel kind of weird asking for it. Oh, by the way, Patreon has just implemented about a month ago a free trial. They implemented it. I didn't. And I allowed it, but yes. So you can do a 7-day free trial on Patreon for the $5 tier. Stick your big toe in, see if it's something you like. I've been very gratified with people taking advantage of this. And before I forget, hashtag Casey's Pink Drink, tumbler full of ice, diet tonic water, splash of diet cranberry, and a squeeze of lime. That's all, folks. Shameless commerce moment over. Now, let's turn to comments. I very much appreciate all of you talking to each other. I'm going to just jump in. Nadja Newhill, good morning, Casey from Smoky, Kentucky. Is that still part of the California wildfires? Cat Cookie, who is a member of the club, writes, oh my goodness, what is it with tortilla chips? I didn't eat them, but I did stray and have a taco last week, and my knee pain came back almost immediately. This is another thing. One of the first things that resolved for me when I laid off the carbs starting January 8th, 2014. So I've been doing this for 9 years, going on 9.5, was my overall joint pain resolved. Didn't expect that to happen. I just figured my joints hurt because I was so big. Didn't explain why my hands hurt because it's not like I walk around on my hands. But anyway, within I would say about 10 days, it resolved. And I hear this from a lot of people, Kat. Eat some carbs, joint pain comes back. The next day, people start needing their emergency asthma inhalers again when they hadn't needed it. Acid reflux comes back. So there are so many things other than weight loss. The weight loss is a fantastic side effect of burning fat for fuel. The health benefits far outweigh the weight loss to me. Kara Z, I haven't figured out the why, but my strumbles happen very infrequently and don't last as long, these reminders are helpful. Good. So, and then it becomes like I just now tortilla chips was my thing. I knew low carb worked. I would say, I'm going to do it. And then I would say, I can't see myself going the rest of my life without eating tortilla chips. We used to buy the abuelita tortilla chips from Costco, big, huge bags, 5 at a time. And my husband made great homemade salsa. And we would murder a bag of tortilla chips. Go out to a Mexican restaurant, 2, 3 baskets of tortilla chips before we ate the, burritos and tacos and rice and beans. But the tortilla chips, man, I don't know what it is about tortilla chips. Betty Lookabaugh, good morning from Troy, Ohio. And Cat Cookie reads, I need that t-shirt. I kind of like it because it's subtle. It's just, nobody may ever figure out what you're wearing. But if someone says, what is on your shirt? Oh, this is American Sign Language for keto. And then we'll, roll their eyes out. Oh, okay. Or, really? You're doing that? And then you can have a conversation. Or you can just have it you can know what it says. Cheryl Hayes. Like that emoji. Jackie Starling, thanks, Casey, for this encouragement. I have possible strumble coming up next week at a conference at my church. Donuts. I needed to hear this. Jackie, you're smart. Start to, when you're in the middle of the event or the place or the family get together, and you haven't, if we haven't prepared our brain, like panic eat. Oh my God, donuts. And find yourself eating. The old saying is, we don't drown because we can't swim. We drown because we panic. So we need to learn to float. So put your brain in, I'm going to be at this conference. I will not eat donuts. And then when you don't eat the donuts or whatever else might be there, and the event has passed, you will feel awesome. I'm talking mentally. That's another mashup. Mentally and emotionally. Mentally. You will feel great about yourself. Strong. I remember I had a Halloween party at my house. Costume party. First year I was doing this. I was feeling so good. I never would have done that before. And there was candy everywhere because, trick-or-treaters, and I had stuff out. I didn't eat anything. that was my first Halloween. Because I used to buy the giant bags of M&Ms at Costco. And I would divide them up by color and make them a home decor thing. Of course, I would eat them. And then Thanksgiving. I had a great Thanksgiving. I just didn't eat the carbs. I felt so strong. Nadja Newhall. No, this is the Canadian wildfire. Why am I having trouble speaking? Wildfires. We moved from Utah to escape the western winds. Well, it shows you can run, but you can't hide. LOL. Judy Tucker. Hey, Judy. Could you share how many carbs you eat in a day? Thank you for asking, Judy. Now, Judy's lost 150 pounds. She's not asking for my advice. She knows what to do. Most days, I'm probably sub 10. Some days a little bit more, depending. I don't eat many vegetables anymore. Frankly, neither does my husband. We like vegetables. We don't shun them. And we're certainly not going to get into a food fight. Not him and me, but I'm not going to. A lot of people get so dug in their food choices and they want everyone else to make the same one. And they get so judgy. We just eat really delicious food, but not many carbs. So we have backyard chickens, as you know or may know, and we get eggs. And so we eat a lot of eggs, and I like them. And there's carbs in eggs. There's like 0.6 grams of carbohydrate in egg. So every food that humans consume have protein, carbs, and fat. Every food, even vegetables have some fat and protein, just not much. Only pure sugar has no fat, and pure lard has no carbs. So I probably 10, but it's not because I'm saying, I just don't eat them. And we just don't eat. We don't have food in the house. We don't eat food. We are eating much less, both of us, much less food than we did a year and a half, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. We just eat less because we require less. That's another thing. That's actually the most challenging part for me was don't eat if you're not hungry, followed by stop when you've had enough. Eating slowly helps with that. If you eat slowly to allow the hormone leptin to get to your brain to say, you're good, you've had enough. But that takes some minutes. I don't know how many minutes. But if we eat too quickly, for one thing, it's unattractive to the people around you. It is not fun to see people shoveling food into their face. But also, if you finish in 5 minutes and it takes 8 minutes for the signal to get there, oops, you will have overeaten. Enjoy the satiety. And thank you for the hearts. I really like it. And thanks for the thumbs up. I can see. I don't usually look at that, but okay. Cara Z writes, I just realized it's been years since I've had Halloween candy. Never thought I could go without that. I used to have to keep it in the car so I wouldn't eat it. Of course, that wouldn't have helped me because I did a lot of car eating. Texas native, just remember how badly you felt before you eat that donut. That should stop you wanting one. Right. Just remember, just Heather Silva, but that's hard to do. It's like, it's a practice. It's a practice. Heather Silva writes, before I make the quote choice to eat off plan, I think about the entire result of my decision, feeling depressed, defeated, sick, binging and hiding my binging, and of course, the weight gain. Nope. Thank you, Heather. Yeah. I've suggested to some people when they just say, why am I doing this? I feel like crud. Everything is right. I suggest grab your smartphone and record yourself or just make a voice recording, but record yourself, password protect it. Nobody else needs to see it. And when you're tempted, look or listen to that recording saying, oh, I can't believe I did that. Didn't even sleep well last night. And I woke up and I feel like I've been kicked in the head. That would maybe work for hangovers as well. Cheryl Hayes writes, it is so much easier to just eat protein. Simple meal plans. Even my husband can prepare dinner. Judy Porterfield, I think you just naturally quit wanting veggies. At least we did. I'm doing less dairy right now, too, and I like how I'm feeling. This message is great. I'll watch again. Hee hee. See, I'm going to do the heart, too. See, I did a heart. How you like that? I like these little things. Isn't it funny the things that we like, even as adults? A lot of adults love stickers. By the way, at my shop, you can get a sticker. One is of me going like, if I can do this, you can do this. I think I have my glasses on the sticker. Or, food is not the boss of me. Or I'm stronger than a cookie. I really enjoy making these things up. Oh, another thing with the patrons, and this was a suggestion from Scott. Once a quarter or so, I design and have printed up note cards that I write a little note on the back of each one, and I send it out to the patrons. And so I've just ordered them, and they'll be going out. It takes me a long time to get them all sent out because of doing everything by hand. I agree, Cheryl, writes Judy Porterfield. Yeah, a lot of people just said they kind of naturally eat fewer vegetables. The closest we come, well, we have green beans in the freezer. So we get the steamable bags of vegetables, which are very convenient. Green beans, broccoli, and cauliflower. I have some steamable asparagus, not my husband's favorite. So it might be there a while. Other than that, mushrooms and onions to have with, grilled cheeseburger or a steak. Sometimes I'll get fancy, or liver, which is what we've had the last couple of days. Beef liver with just sauteed onions and mushroom. And then I put our family of seasonings that I mix up, combination, and then a dollop of cream in there makes a really creamy sauce. Oh, so good. I'm going to start to wind down. I really appreciate you guys allowing me to be part of your day. And I know there are a lot of voices that you can listen to, a lot of places. So I'm and they're getting to be more and more and more. I'm honored that that you turn to me every now and again. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. God willing, and the creek don't rise. And some of you I'll see on a patron live stream in about half an hour on Crowdcast. Thanks, guys. Be sweet. Just don't eat sweets.